Thank you, gentlemen. A pretty back-and-forth win there, although definitely still a little bit more one-sided for Gravity. Do have to touch on the fact that that was the first Swain we've seen in NALCS history.
Yeah.
However, yeah, woo, made it.
Locked it in.
However, a little underwhelming.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. I mean, we've all been waiting a really long time to see Quas' Swain. I watch it in solo queue whenever I see it. It's like, oh man, it's Swain, I can't wait. Then it didn't work because the team didn't play around it.
But Swain is one of those champions. Although he was down in CS early and had that unfortunate turret dive in the early stages of the game, Swain is a champion that scales very well, both as, you know, a tank but also damage presence because of the Zhonya's and the scaling health on the Roa and his ability to sustain during a fight. So that has to point to Team Liquid obviously looking to the late game saying it's okay that the Swain got off to a slightly slow start. We can still come back in this.
Yeah, Keen kind of shut them down there, though. He dominated the mid lane. They put a lot of pressure in that mid lane, threw Phoenix off his game on Azir, very comfortable champion for him, and then they started to play around with pushing and kind of spilling over his lead into other lanes, and that's what really affected it, is that Zed got so far ahead.
And Gravity is beginning to make a pattern of like violating teams that can disengage and killing them anyway. Because, I mean, if we go to kind of team comp school, and this is one of the issues that Team Liquid had, they have 3 knockbacks on their team to create sustained fights. The Azir wall, the Janna ultimate, and the Trist ultimate. They need to use those. They need to disengage, right? They were using a lot of their spells to engage, which then allowed so much destruction from Gravity. I mean, they were playing it, Team Liquid was playing it slow for a long time, because you look at that team and you think, man, if this team goes late, there's nothing you can do to touch them. They're just going to sit back and kill you with their sustained damage. And they were playing it slow for a while. Then something like broke in their minds. They're like, we have to fight all the time.
Yeah, we have a replay that kind of showcases that 35 minutes into the game. We're going to get that up onto your screen in chat. I'll let you continue with your point here because it does seem that Team Liquid is the aggressor in all these situations, and yet the fights are not coming out in their favor.
So this is a strange one because Keen is looking to flank Team Liquid, so what Team Liquid should be doing is they should be pulling away from him, hope he engages, and then stand and fight your ground. Azir is a zone control champion. His little bird legs can only take him so far, so when they make him reposition once, he can't reposition again. Phoenix is in this spot now, and he is trapped. He gets hooked. Where are you going to disengage? You're trapped between these 2 walls now, so they're only going to be stuck in that corridor. They get completely collapsed upon. And it was their choice to do so. They thought they'd be able to catch the Zed. They did not. And they should have just been straight back in the mid lane. The fight would have gone much better.
Phoenix also failed his flash there. Seemed a little off-kilter. He got first blooded, as Zareen pointed out. Keen was playing pretty fantastically there on Zed. Maybe put him a little bit on edge after that initial first blood.
And the end of that fight kind of goes to show how long they would actually need to take down the Maokai. I mean, Piglet was critting him for like 200 damage. Hanser's Maokai was huge.
Right, so that's a great example of the things that Team Liquid should not have been doing. So how do we approach a team comp like this and use it effectively to still aggress around the map? Because you don't want to become complacent. You never want to be, you know, a non-threat. You know, so how do you play this comp in an aggressive manner without having to straight up team fight?
So they have all the tools available to them to tower bomb. They have the Azir W, they have the Tristana E. They're able to siege these turrets down, and they have excellent wave clear. With this composition that Gravity had drafted for themselves was really hard engage. This team that Liquid drafted for themselves punishes hard engage by standing around turrets or taking fights in the jungle where you can manipulate the terrain with Azir. What you do is you wait for them to engage on you after you've been sieging and turret bombing every now and then. You then put up a turret, and you can Zhonya's and still have persistent damage from the turret if you're Azir, or if you're Zhonya'sing as Swain, you still have persistent damage from your Ravenous Flock. So this team composition definitely punishes you for engaging, and they get to pick their engages by disengaging with the knockbacks that you mentioned before. Yeah. So they either take it by a dead turret while sieging, and they can just keep going up, or they take them deep in the jungle where they can manipulate the terrain, like I said.
And they did it once. They
had
one good fight. And it kind of backs up our point a little bit of how, if they can control the zone, instead of running to a spot and fighting right away, that it can go much better for them. They were down, what, like 8,000 gold at a Baron fight, and they won the fight, even with Piglet getting hooked.
We have that replay, so we're going to get that up, because it contrasts very well with the previous point. So 44 minutes into the game, take it away.
Yeah, what you're going to see here is a hook comes out from Bunny Fufu. Giving Bunny Fufu Thresh is actually a really big deal here. But they start this fight off, and manipulating the terrain with this composition is really big. But you see right there, throw them off to the side. These guys can't get into the fight anymore. Phoenix goes to safety after this and continues to put out damage after the Zonias. They have essentially just ripped the composition of Gravity in half. Cop and Keen are not a factor because Dominate and Phoenix zone them off of it. So this was how you're supposed to play this composition, but the gold difference is what played the biggest factor here.
If not for that unfortunate hook there on Piglet too, right at the end, it could have been an even more one-sided fight with the damage that would have come out from him.
They do come out on top originally, like 3 for 2. That's a great fight when you're 8K down, even more than that at this point, I think. But that's how you're supposed to play this, and they didn't play to that early enough. And even just looking at Gravity's comp, and this is always something that blows my mind too, is this is a comp that if you let them get ahead, they can run away with the game. But the fact that they are all physical damage threats against a team that is going to buy Zonias, they're also going to get a tanky Jarvan, you can eventually outlast them and just deal sustained damage. And this team also itemized first for magic resistance on Gravity's side. They weren't looking to deal with like diving a turret. They are not suited to dive a turret, and you punish them so much for that. And I'm just going to stop going on about that.
It was the strangest thing. Like, the game played out not how it should have.
Right.
Because there should have been an emphasis on Gravity to end the game. They're the team with the burst damage. We're going to keep talking about these team comps anyway because they have interactions that were not being respected.
Well, the game was not won or lost by the team comp, is the point. They were won and lost. It was won and lost by the way that they were played.
Yeah, so looking again at Gravity, they have a lot of burst damage. Graves, Zed, Vi, they're the pick comp that wins fast and quick impromptu fights. Whereas the Swain, Azir, Tristana, there's no burst damage there. That is literally just sustained damage. Why are they trying to make the fast, quick fights with the Dominate Jarvan ultimates again and again? It just doesn't make sense when you think about it that way. And that's why they were losing those fights when they were even in gold.
An interesting attempt at some innovation, pulling that Swain in at the top lane. Unfortunately, unsuccessful. We'll see if they're more successful in the future. But we've got to step away for a moment. But when we return, Dignitas will take on Team 8 in our 5th game of the day. The action continues in just 3.5.
Up next, we've got Game 4 with Gravity taking on Team Liquid. Gigantic dive on this one. Dominate is around, but the damage output looks like it's not enough being done. Special knocks the team into the turret, and they will pick up Hanser.
And they go in on this one.
Still got a turret, though. Bunny Fufu's going to go down, just does not respect the turret, but Saint fires back.
Had a flash. Triss in the pit, Triss in the pit.
Right. Triss. They're both in the pit. Kite back a little bit. Kite. Oh, Zeri. I'm on Triss. Kill these guys. Nice.
Getting caught, and they will start the battle. How much damage could Special and the rest of this company do? Looks like the jungle is going to fall right off the bat. Quas hooked in. Does Zonia's in time, but it's a 5v4, and that is the game. Gravity takes a win, improves to 4-4.